Hi everyone, welcome back to the Relax and Craft YouTube channel. My name's Fleur and today we're going to be making these absolutely gorgeous slider sections for bracelets and necklaces. So these are chain maille. So they're based on a chain maille 2-in-2 weave, so a very simple weave. And oh, let's get you to focus, there we go. And you can see that they are cleverly stacked and woven together to create this kind of Persian looking weave. Really clever, really simple, very easy to make, and will work with lots of different sizes of jump rings. And we'll talk about that in a second, what sizes of jump rings you're going to need. But as you can see, this one is a graduated one, really beautiful. You can see that stacking that's going on there, and then this last one is a tricolour. So we've got all three metal colours there present. Really beautiful. Now if you want to make along with me, you're going to need some jump rings, 3 different sizes if you want to do the graduated ones, or just one size if you wanted to make one of the bracelets. Now with this slider technique, you do need a jump ring of around 4.5 to 5.5 aspect ratio. So the two bracelets are made on 4.5 inner diameter, 1mm wire diameter, which gives you your aspect ratio of 4.5. But they are they only work on this kind of like slimmer leather. So this is a 1.25 leather cord, and this is a 3x1 chain, 3x1 chain that you buy on a reel and then obviously cut to length. This one won't move. You can see that the aspect ratio of this one is very tight. Let's get you to focus, come on. Why won't you focus? Let's see if we can get you to focus like this. There we go. So you can see it's very tight, it won't move, it's kind of like stuck on there. So if you wanted your piece to move up and down your bracelet or your necklace, you're going to need a slightly bigger aspect ratio. So I would suggest, if you wanted it to move, going up to a 5mm inner diameter on a 1mm wire, which gives you your aspect ratio of 5, or a 4.5 inner diameter jump ring on a 0.9 wire, again will give you an aspect ratio of 5. So you've got a couple of options there with jump ring sizes, but it will work with most sizes. As long as we can get it on that chain, it will work. So it's a little bit of a suck it and see kind of project to see if those sizes will work. Now in the graduated one that I've got here, my aspect ratios range from 5 to 5.5. So I've got on the end, I've got the 4.5 on the 0.9. The silver section is 5.5 on a 1mm, and the middle section is a 6.5 on a 1.25 wire. So aspect ratio wise, we've got 5, 5.5, and we've got a 5.2 in the middle. But like I say, it will work with quite a lot of different sizes, and it'll give you a completely different look with the different sizes as well. And like I say, you can graduate or you can keep them all the same size. The only thing that I've used in addition is a ready-made chain, and these are 1.5 curb chains from any sort of like seller of ready-made chains. That they 1.5 tends to be quite a standard size, and they go on there really nicely, and these will move up and down, so you can see they've got that nice movement to them as well. So let me get all this cleared down and let's get going with these gorgeous slider projects. So the main section of this project is a 2-in-2 chain. So where we basically take 2 jump rings and we link it to the next 2 along. So we take, I always start in the middle and I work out either side, which makes it easier for me to remember how many pairs I have to do. But what I've basically done is I've got 10 jump rings in the middle, and that's in 5 pairs. So I've got 5 pairs of the largest size. So I'm going to be doing the graduated one, sorry, should have said that. I've got 5 pairs of the largest jump rings, And then either side, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 of either on either side of the next size down, which is my 5.5 on a 1mm wire. So 6.5, 1.25s, there's 10 of those, and then I've got 48 of my 5.5s, and then the same at the end, which is my 4.5 on a 0.9 wire. So you can see there, they're all double pairs. So the way that you get started is, there's a couple of ways to get started with this weave. The first way is to pre-close 4 of your jump rings. 2, 3 and 4. Okay, I'm going to grab some more jump rings here. Yeah. And I'm going to take an open jump ring and I'm going to place on all 4 of those closed jump rings that I've just closed. Okay, and close. And then take in another open jump ring. I'm going to place that through all 4 of those closed jump rings. Now this is the largest size that I'm using, so the 6.5s, so I've gone through like so and close, and then when I split these 4 in the middle here, I will end up with a chain of 3 sets of 2. Okay, so that's a really easy way of getting 3 sets of 2 ready. So from there, we're then going to take another open jump ring and we're just going to go through one of the end pairs and close that up. And again, double that one up. So every pair is doubled up. So wherever you put 1 jump ring, we're going to put 2. And then we're going to put our last pair in. So we're just linking 2 jump rings into 2 jump rings. So this part is the really simple part. And so we've got our first 10 jump rings in my chain, and then I'm going to move down to the next size. So this is a 5.5 on a 1mm wire. So again, I'm going to just keep adding either side of this initial middle of the chain. So I've got my next pair on one side, and I'm going to place on the next pair on the other side. And I find by doing this, I keep track of how many pairs I'm putting in. So we need 6 of these pairs on either side. Like so. So you can see there now how it's gone down to the next size. So we're going to carry on going until we have our full chain. So we want 6 pairs of 4.5 on either side, 6 pairs of 5.5 on either side, and 5 pairs of your 6.5 on a 1.25 wire in the middle. Now you can put equal amounts of pairs on either side, that's not a problem. So this is one with the 3 either side, but I find if you want to hang something from this one, because you've got 6 pairs in the middle, which is 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom, it naturally sort of like gives you a little bit too much of a bigger center section if you want to hang something from it, but that's entirely up to you. What I would say is don't go any more than this kind of pair, because once it's concertinaed up and worn, it sits nicely because it's weighted to the bottom of the necklace. If you do too much and too many of these on a necklace, it can squish together and look a little bit it doesn't look nice when it's all sort of like made up and when it's worn. So I find that this is the like perfect amount, but you may want to add more in, you may want to add less, and that's up to you. So the next thing we need to do is we need to prepare our chain. So like I say, this is a ready-made chain that I've got here. So this is just a little ball chain, And what I've done is where the clasp is, on the other end of the clasp, so the little jump ring or the little, in this case, little bar to do this up onto, I've placed on there some just fine wire. This is a 0.5 wire, but you could use a 0.4. Twist it together so you've got this long handle, okay? So this is going to help you stack everything perfectly. So the chainmail bit is over. We've done our chainmail bit. We're now going to start to stack and let this slide onto the chain. Now I find that the chains with this kind of ending are easier because it's more aerodynamic to like put the chain onto it, so to put the slider section onto it, and sometimes if you've got a jump ring it can stop it from going through the stack. So I find that these chains are the best, or if you've got a ready-made chain, obviously you can just a chain that you're going to finish yourself, you can just put the wire through the very last link, and if you've got something like your leather, then just weave it on with the end of the leather, that's not a problem. So to get started, we're going to take our needle that we've made, okay, so we've got our needle, and what I want to do is I'm going to just come up through, so from the front to the back, up through the very end chain. Now this is all to do with stacking your jump rings, okay? So what we come up through the back of one, we're going to go down through the front of the other, okay? And then we're going to come up through the back again and down through the front. So you can see how that's starting to stack, okay? So we're going down through the front, we're going to come up through the back, and again down through the front. So that's the first section in place. So I've come down through the front, so again I'm going to come up through the back, try and keep your chain nice and straight, down through the front, up through the back, and you can see it all starting to stack together. So again down through the front and up through the back, down through the front. Make sure you get both of the jump rings, make sure that this needle doesn't split any of the pairs. So down through the front, up through the back, and we're just going to let that slide down, and again down through the front and up through the back, and you'll see it starting to stack, and down and up and down and up and down. Now it does take a little bit of practice, this. You do have to sort of like find the rhythm with it, if you like. So I've gone down through the front there, so I'm coming up through the back and then down through the front, up through the back, down through the front. Now these last few are very tricky, okay? So I'm going to come up through the front, down through the back, because I'm running out of wire, as you can see, but you can see it starting to stack there. And then so I've gone down through the back, so I'm going to come up through the front on the last pair. Okay, so that's it all stacked in place, and now holding on to the front of that little piece of wire, what we need to do now is just give it a little wriggle. Now this is what I was saying about getting it over the end of that chain can be a little bit of a problem, so make sure that everything's nicely sort of like snugged together where the wire meets the chain, and I'm just giving it a little wriggle just to get it over the top, and there you have your perfectly stacked chain. So it is a little bit of a sort of like a fiddle to sort of like get going, and I would suggest that you probably need to do it 2 or 3 times before you sort of like get the hang of it. The other thing is, let me just show you with this little bit here. So even if you've just got a little tiny bit that you've sort of like started, just have a little practice, but whichever one you're going to do first, so if you come up through the front, let me just move that out of the way, The first one is going to go down through the back. Okay, so we've come up through the front. I always find it easier to come up through the front, just let the chain hang down, up through the front, and then down through the back. Once you've got those first two in place, I find it a lot easier then to start then with the up through the front and down through the back and up through the front and down through the back. So it's literally just in and out of the chain until you've got them all in place, and you'll see straight away if they're in the correct place, because they'll stack really neatly for you. But if they're not in the right place, you can just take them off and start again. So it's not a case of once it's on, it's on. Then you can just take them off and try again. Your chainmail section is still good to go because it's still perfect. But it's that simple, and it's just a little bit of practice to go down through the front, up through the back, down through the front, up through the back. So just keep having a little go and you will get the most beautiful weave. And like I say, the hardest bit is the very last bit, but a few little just like handy hints is make your needle long enough, obviously, to get as much of that onto your much of the sort of like the stacking onto the needle before you then put it on. If you use a 0.4 0.5, this becomes a little bit more flexible, so you can like move it in and out. If you're using something like leather, it is a little bit different, as in like you're going to go fully all the way down through the back, up through the front, so you're just going to weave it backwards and forwards as you go, because you don't have a needle on this, you've just got the cord to help you thread it on. But they are, let me just make that a little bit larger so you can see, they are the most fabulous little elements to add on to chains and necklaces, and they give that nod to chainmail. They give that really nice sort of like Persian look to a piece. Thanks ever so much for crafting with me today. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe and tap that notification bell so you'll never miss out on any of my latest tutorials and tips. Stay creative, take time for yourself and keep relaxing and crafting, and I'll see you on the next video.